There are habits people try to avoid. The obvious ones. The ones everyone agrees are harmful. But the habits that quietly shape life are rarely obvious. They don't feel wrong, they feel normal. And that's exactly why they're so easy to miss. There are patterns many people repeat every day, without questioning them. They don't stand out. They don't feel extreme. They don't trigger alarm. But over time, they quietly limit progress, reduce clarity, and shape direction. This episode is part of the Invisible Habits series, where we explore the quiet patterns that influence life without most people noticing. And today we're looking at the habits that feel normal, but slowly hold you back. Habit 1. Saying yes. Without thinking. Many people say yes automatically. Yes to requests, yes to expectations, yes to things they don't fully want to do. It feels polite, it feels cooperative, it avoids friction. But every unnecessary yes takes time and energy away from something else, something more important. Over time, this habit creates a life shaped more by other people's priorities than your own. Habit 2. Filling every moment. Silence has become uncomfortable. Waiting feels unproductive. So every gap is filled. Scrolling, checking, consuming. At first it feels harmless, but constant stimulation removes something important. Space. And without space, reflection disappears. You may stay busy, but clarity begins to fade. Habit 3. Delaying small decisions. Some decisions feel too small to matter, so they're postponed. A conversation, a choice, a small action. It doesn't feel urgent, so it waits. But small delays accumulate. Unmade decisions create mental clutter, and that clutter quietly drains attention and energy. Habit 4. Comparing without realizing. Comparison isn't always obvious. It doesn't always feel like jealousy. Sometimes it's subtle. A quick glance, a quiet thought, a slight shift in how you see yourself. Over time, these small comparisons shape perception. They influence confidence, they influence expectations, and often they distort reality, because comparison rarely shows the full picture. Habit 5. Mistaking comfort for stability. Comfort feels safe, predictable, manageable. So people stay where things feel familiar, even when something feels slightly off, even when growth requires change. Comfort can be helpful, but when it becomes the default, it quietly limits expansion. You stop exploring, you stop questioning, and slowly, possibilities narrow. Habit 6. Ignoring low-level discomfort. Not all discomfort is loud. Some of it is quiet. A feeling that something isn't quite right. A sense of misalignment. A small but persistent tension. It's easy to ignore, easy to push aside. But over time, ignored discomfort grows. What starts small becomes more difficult to address, because it was left unexamined for too long. Habit 7. Ending the day without reflection. At the end of the day, many people simply move on. They finish tasks, they rest, they repeat the cycle. But without reflection, patterns remain invisible. Without awareness, habits continue unchanged. Reflection doesn't require hours, just a moment, a question, a pause, the hidden pattern. None of these habits seem dangerous. That's what makes them powerful. They don't disrupt life dramatically. They shape it gradually. Each one on its own feels small, but together, they create direction. They influence how time is used, how energy is spent, how decisions are made, and over time, they quietly determine where you end up. The shift. You don't need to eliminate every habit. You don't need to change everything at once. The shift begins with noticing. Noticing when you say yes without thinking. Noticing when you fill space instead of allowing it. Noticing when something small is left unresolved. Awareness introduces choice, and choice introduces change. Even one small adjustment can begin to shift the pattern. Closing reflection. The habits that shape life the most are rarely the ones people talk about. They're the ones that feel normal, the ones that go unquestioned, the ones that quietly repeat. And once you begin to notice them, something changes. You begin to see your patterns more clearly. And in that clarity, you begin to shape them. This episode is part of the Invisible Habits series, exploring the quiet patterns that shape our lives without us noticing. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing to more reflections like this, and in the comments, share which of these habits felt the most familiar. Sometimes recognition is the first step toward change.